Alright, howdy guys. I hope everybody's having a wonderful day. What we're doing here today is we had this little dilemma on the debarker. Matt, it was debarking and this thing, the kickers, the cylinder broke, which is normal practice. It was a design flaw that we got in, and I will get into that with y'all as the video goes along. So let's get in here. Let's get started. We got a fix. We got an application where two cylinders are running a rig, and it turned into a redundant mess. And it actually broke itself, and we're gonna fix it, and I want to show y'all us fixing it to get by. It's a temporary fix, but the reason I'm posting this video is I want to get you all's opinion on some of this stuff, because I don't fully have this figured out. Let's see what it does.
We're going to start this repair on the go. Don't try this at home. What happened down here, it's a long story, but we made a mistake years ago. We didn't know no better. We screwed this up. What this does is run them kickers up there, stopping loads that loads this deck right here. And it's a terrible design. I can't stress enough how we screwed up. All right, but now today's the day I gotta fix it. This here busted right here. Now I'm gonna move this cylinder eye where the cylinder's been mounted, because we had it mounted in a stupid trajectory. And another thing, that's got a solid shaft across there on the kickers, on the stopping loads. So what we need to do, they got two solid shafts, which is a terrible design. It needs cut right in the middle, or else side and side. We got to cut it off with a torch, so we got to get these separated, and then I can mount the cylinder up here where it should have been to start with, and get its cylinder eye cut off, put the cylinder in the right spot, and then life will be all right. So let me get to it.
Okay, I'm showing this. This is a, of course, I gotta watch my sawdust and everything. And my firebug is about 15 minutes out yet, but this repair has got to get started. The reason being is because this evening when we get done, the sawmill, the crucial problem with the sawmill is fire. So everything revolves around not making a fire. Now this is green wood going in its bark, and bark is less combustible than sawdust. But even that being explained, there, you must have a firebug, you must have a water hose. I got a water hose sitting behind me on the concrete, which I should have showed that in the beginning of this so y'all knew. And I got a firebug. You always got to have a fire watch when you're doing this, and you got to shut down 2 hours before you leave the property. So, and all that being said, and in that doing so, with this emergency breakdown that we had, because we're going to the woods tomorrow, I don't have time to hang out and babysit this. So I have to get it fixed, and they're shoveling. We cleaned everything out, and them guys come to help me, and they're shoveling all the excess sawdust out of there while the debarker shut down. See, the debarker, the debarker is a quicker machine usually than the head saw, so he can run a deck full and then shut down for periods of time if he's a good operator. Now, I'm not. I'm terrible at debarker. I run white knuckled the whole time from break to break, you know. But once you get used to debarking, like Matt is, and like Michael is there that's standing there with the shovel, when you're good at running debarker, you can run a skid full and then shut down and let the head saw catch up a little bit, and then run another skid full. So you can do other jobs to occupy your time, and you know, so you're just sitting there sandbagging. But they cleaned it up to where it's clean. They didn't got to worry about a fire, so I could get my process going while Matt's trying to keep the mill running. We got so many people, you know, there's employees, I forget how many people's involved in the mill and this stuff. I can't think off the top of my head. Maybe 20 people would catch it. Yeah, 20 people would catch it. I'd say 18 people or so works in this environment that would have to shut down if we shut this in this beginning of the production chain. Now, what's going on here is while Matt's operating, I'm under this deck. I'm in a safe spot, even though it don't appear to be. There's a gearbox running behind me and stuff. But this is a redundant system. To get into this, I accept all the responsibility for this. Younger me accepts all this responsibility. It's a failure. It was a failure from day one. It was a stupid design. It was made with good intentions. They say some of the worst things was done with good intentions. It was done with good intentions, but just did not understand enough to be doing this type of work at the time. I needed a mentor, and the mentor was gone at this time. So I just didn't have enough guidance at the time. It's my fault. So what we done is I'll show you what we did here. And you can see here, so we got the kickers up here. And then you got the this, I call it a bell crank. I don't know. It was, what our problem was, the kickers needed to be fast at the end of the stroke to kick the log onto the bull rows. The problem is, with the hydraulic pumps we had, instead of changing a hydraulic pump, which we probably should have done in hindsight 2020, probably should have changed the hydraulic pumps, give it a little more pressure and left it alone. But we come up with this ding-dong idiotic idea to speed it up. Well, then we got all our angles wrong to where we sped it up, but we lost our power. You can tell how the cylinder was mounted behind me there. See my right arm? Right there behind me, that's where the cylinder was mounted, and it pushed on that eye I cut off when we first started this project. So, I mean, it's horrible. It is horrible. Like a high school geometry class could have told you, this is ridiculous. What are you doing, idiot? But anyways, I'll quit dwelling on that because it's been painful failure. It's been a painful failure over the years. But I finally come to the realization it keeps breaking because I got a redundant system. I got the shaft. There's no way with these sloppy situations that this shaft can be properly supported to where it don't get pressure spots. So obviously where I'm welding right there, that cylinder was his pressure spot and finally broke the shaft. So I'm gonna weld this shaft back together because it's overbuilt anyways. It's just a bell crank. It didn't need to be built like it was. It was only that way because of our stupid design. So the bell crank's its job just to carry the push rod, which is horrible. What I think needs to happen is I think we need to hook the cylinder up and get the trajectory right on your radius up on the kickers to where just through normal straight push going to rotating thing, you can get all your cake and eat it too without all these stupid parts. But today I can't do that today. I got to get this debarker running. I get this fixed so we can go to the woods in the morning, and then we're just going to put this off, let it run, and come back and revisit it later.
Shit, I still can't hear you. Strike it off like you gotta turn off. Go back to that well. 2 clicks back towards me. Go check it out, Mark. What did you say, 78 feet? Yeah. 78 feet, right? Yeah. Clamp on there or something. getting ready.
Don't do that.
I'll stick him up there. Red hot?
No, that way.
Give her hell. It's burning my hand.
What's the first thing you want to do?
Clamp it just like this.
Yeah, I got you.
Hang on, let me cool my hand.
Oh, that ain't that hot, is it?
Yeah. You ready this time?
Yeah.
All right.
How's it down?
Hang on, I got to move it in anyway.
And drop down a little bit of the knife. You ready?
Yeah. There. That's good. Don't touch it super duper tight. Woo! Hot!
Hot. Son of a bitch.
Hot! Come on.
You gonna stick around, Marty?
Need a hammer.
Yeah.
All right, hammer.
I'm gonna roll that way.
Yeah.
And I want to ask anybody that's a qualified fabricator out there or welder. In these situations, especially when I'm in a hurry, what I use is I like to use 6011 for your root pass on this fabrication stuff. You know, it's just normal deck work fabrication. On a root pass on the inside, I like to use a 6011, and I like to come over it with a 7018. That's in a perfect world. But a lot of this overheading, like that's, I can tell by the way that rod's acting, I'm using a 7018. But I like on this overheading, I've been using the 7014s. Does anybody have any enlightenment on these 7014 rods that I've been using? Because I don't trust them. I don't trust them like I do a 7018. I know they're got the same. I know how the scale works. Though before you come on there and 70,000 pound rod, 70,000. You know the way the chemicals about it is that nothing seems to have a bite of a 718 to me. You know, unless it be like a 11018 or something. You know, just the 18 series rod, just more tensile strength. You know. But does anybody have anything to add to this? You know, I'm using 6011 root pass, 7018 cap, and a lot of this overhead off position stuff to keep from having a sticky rod and keep the momentum up and the speed up. I'm jumping to the 7014 when I do that. Does anybody have anything to add to this? And I got 7020 just before you start into it. I got 7024 for flats, but I never weld 7024. I always just use 7018.
Okay, so here's the deal. We don't have the right trajectory. This is too low. It was done in a hurry. I need to move this up to right here. And then it'll work perfect. But it'll work fine for now. We're going to get the machine running again. But here, we'll try it out. I want to see it operate. It's a start.
Yeah.
Like I said, it needs to be mounted right there. I didn't take into consideration the angles. Here, you want to operate it?
Okay.
Do it again, Morgan. Push on it. Yeah, I need to brace it more. Push on again.
You know, I realize anybody watching this, you're gonna need to be up on your tetanus shot. If you ain't got your tetanus shot in a while, you sick 'cause it's the best. Okay, I got my trajectory wrong again, but I'm spazzing through this. It's one of them deals I might have should have thought a little bit more. That cylinder needs to be up top, real bad.
Yeah.
It needs to be up tip top,
Well,
up above that other
torch up.
link.
Run again.
That other bar link thing, it needs to be up
Yeah.
there, actually above it probably. But whatever. I mean, this is a depressing thing. But I'm just hoping everybody, I'm hoping somebody involved watching this will be like, well, you need to try this, or you need to do that. You know, I'm just hoping to get that out of this video. That's all I'm after is the comments. It's the only reason I'm putting this on there. But here it is up here at the top. And you can see how it, watch the speed of everything as it goes. It needs to, up towards the top, it needs to kind of snap in and be strong. And then towards the bottom, be whoop and drop it fast. But now the other cylinder's hooked up the old way, where it's pushing against itself on the bottom, like I showed you when we started out. So it's not helping this speed system any, but it's a little better. You can see at the end kind of's got a little snap to it. Reason being is we actually got our stopping loads probably 1.5 inches, 2 inches too short in height. See how they kind of dump below the bull wheels? That makes you have to throw a log on the bull wheel to get it to go. Which if we raise our stopping loads 2 inches, it'd probably solve all our problems. So as I'm looking at this, you know, some things that we're mistaken on really comes to my mind, you know, and it's like, wow, this is a complex situation here. It really is.
Push that button with the key in. Well, Morgan decided that he wouldn't be able to sleep at night if we didn't fix it. So we had to fix it. We had to make him happy. Oh yeah?
We made it real dark.
There. He's just too particular.
I think Tater might be a little full of crap.
Just a little bit.
Just a little.
On a big job.
Yep.
What do you think we got this time wise? I'm about near 15 minutes from being done.
Probably about 2 hours. What time did I say it was? 4 o'clock?
4? Yeah.
It's about, you'll be done about 4:30.
I started at 2.
Yeah.
4 till 2.
About 2.5 hours.
Not bad for totally remounting the cylinder.
But they were down for how long before that, so.
He wasn't down, well, the mill had to shut down, you know, he was caught up enough. The headstone never stopped.
Yeah, it'd be about
When we capped off these lines, Morgan, he went back to going off just one cylinder, you know, and just using small logs.
I'd say, just for shits and giggles, I give it like a 3-hour time limit. Something like that.
So it ain't the prettiest job ever was, but
Hey, it works.
ain't bad for the time we put in.
It's gonna work, right?
Yeah, and it's gonna turn out to be something. The idea with this belt crank, you get your speed and your strength at the end of the stroke.
You were throwing them all over the ground.
This will work a whole lot better. Don't get real hard on it. I ain't got it welded real good, but I got it welded pretty good. Yeah, turn the key on, make sure it's popped out, and then you'll have to start that box up on top. Yeah, I'll watch you. There you go. Hell of a lot better. Take it down again. All right, bring it up. Okay. All right, kill it.
It looks like it's moving a lot better.
Good.
So whatever it was in the last spot, it looked like it hesitated a little bit.
Yeah.
Whenever I'd step on it the last time, it looked like it wanted to take off slow, like maybe this one was shoving it.
Yeah, it was. It was doing that, yeah.
Holding that other
It
foot
still ain't
slow.
perfect, but it ain't bad. It's a lot better. It'll work. This will definitely work. Alright. What did I do with my lens cap? I put it in my poop.
What?
Oh, I took that lens cap off.
See, even if you wanted to revamp this later, Cody, we could drop that cylinder down.
If we just welded this amount on that up top, we can take all these moving parts out of it. I mean, there's so many moving parts in this that's unnecessary. It just, to me, it's depressing to watch because it's just, but you can't let, now one thing I want to show about this video is you can't hide failure. Do not, please do not try to hide your failures. Do not try to look at your failures as an embarrassing thing. Those of you out there that's looking for a little bit of helpfulness in there, I'm beating it with a slag hammer and kind of knocking the slag off. You can also peen it a little bit with your tack hammer to relieve some stress if you're doing thick welds, you know. But I'm wanting to share this with y'all also to those of you out there just getting started in fabricating and building things or other things. That failure, use that failure. That there is no way to learn without failure. If you're not failing, you're not learning. If you're not failing, you're not learning.
The idea with the bell crank, see, is to get your torque at the end of the run, but get your speed halfway down. So when you're dropping logs onto these bull rows, you got to speed them up at the last little bit. So you're trying to drop them, but when you bring them up, you want it locked in tight. So when you drop a log on there, the angle's perfect and it can't put up much of a fight. I think with that cylinder over there being like it is, I think it'll do good. I think this actually might do us good enough to work for a few years now. I'll finally get this cut off. I have Matt Smith cut it off next week. Matt will cut that off and get that. We got to separate these two so you ain't got two bars locked together because you never get them right. And then that'll be enough. That'll get us what we need. Be good enough. Now if that don't work, Morgan said, and he's exactly right, if that don't work, all I gotta do is make a bracket down there and move his cylinder down to about here. If this cylinder's at this height, it'll work just fine. If I'm concerned about it, which I'm not too damn concerned about it. Cylinder should be about level, and I got it quite kind of the wrong trajectory. I need to plane it out almost flat to be about the right trajectory. Then when it gets down to the end of the stroke here, then it'll drop down at the very last. And that last little bit, that'll gain a lot of speed back here at the kickers, at the stopping loads. So now gain your rim speed at the end. See, at the end of the dump cycle, you want your rim speed to be fast. But at the top of the dump cycle, when you're racing back up, you want to then slow down and have torque up towards the top. And that's the idea of the bell crank. The angles ain't perfect. We've been in a hurry and all this stuff, so it ain't perfect, but it's good enough for now. And we're off on the right track, and it wouldn't take just a little bit of welding to make it just right. So all I gotta do is cut that loose and bring that down to about here, and then everything will be kosher. So, but it's getting late and I don't want to do any more gouging. So but all I have to do is cut that loose, bring that down, and weld that right there, and then it brought the cylinder down where it needs to be, and it'd be perfect. It would be perfect. Just took a little bit to get the angles right. Now I know it looks like crap, but it ain't nothing. A guy can't do a little grinding, clean it up, paint it, and make it look good. So we'll get to it.